Okay, so Q1 week 8 skill practice. So we're ordering from least to greatest. Over here, I'm looking at these and I see 9/5 is definitely going to be the largest because that's 1.8 or 1 4/5 and 1.8. So I'm going to look and get rid of this choice because that doesn't have it as the largest. So we're down to this and this. Now I'm looking at this and I see this 5.9%. That's almost nothing because when you slide the decimal over twice you get 0.059. So 0.059, 5/9 is 55 cents, 5555 repeating, and 59% is going to be 0.59. So 5 cents, 55 cents about, and 59 cents, and then $1.80. It's going to be this bottom one. Okay, so now we're looking at decimal and fraction for 10 to the negative 5. It never makes a negative answer, so I'm getting rid of those. A negative exponent makes a small answer, so it's not going to be a big number. And the thing to remember, the exponent for these types tells you how many zeros it's going to need. 5 zeros and 5 zeros total. So it's these two choices. Moving on. We have ordering, numbering from smallest to largest. And I'm going to see if this thing can focus. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. All you have to do is look at the exponents. So we have a +4, that's going to be your largest. We have a -8, that's going to be your smallest. +2, well, that's a little less than the +4, so that's going to be your third largest. And then -4 is going to be your second largest. So we've got -8, -4, 2, 4 from least to greatest. So there were no tied. Notice how I didn't even look at the front numbers. If there was a tie, if you had two exponents that matched, then you'd have to look at the front number. All right, so this one, positive exponent makes it a large number. It's going to slide, the decimal would slide 7 places to the right, but one of those places is already taken by the 2. So you're only going to need 6 zeros. So there it is. This is going to be a small number, so I'm getting rid of my big choices. It's going to slide 8 to the left, which is a total of 8 zeros. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I'm going to count my zeros including the one out front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There it is. Okay. Which ones are true? Square root of 121 is 11, so that's not going to work. Square root of 289 is 13. 13 times 13 is 169, so that's not going to work. I'm going to come to this one in a minute. If this was written as square root is 100 equaling 10, then it would have been okay, but it's not written like that. Square root of 400 is 20, so it's not going to work. So we're down to these. I'm going to look at this one. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 169 is 13. Because 9 times 9 is 81. 4 times 4 is 16. 13 times 13 is 169. Is 9 plus 4 equal to 13? It sure is. So that's going to be a true one. 18 times 18, is it 324? This is one I'm always fuzzy with my memory, so I'm going to go ahead and work it out. I see the 8 times 8 is 64, so that's a good sign that it is going to work, but I'm just going to double check it. I'm going to work it out here. You can't use a calculator on this, so we're going to go 8 times 8 is 64, 8 times 1 is 8 plus 6 is 14, and then we have spacer 0, we have 8 and 1, and we get 4, we get 12, and we get a 3. So it is going to be true, 324. Moving on. This works out to -3. This works out to 3, and its absolute value is going to be 3. But if this had bars around it, it'd be true, but it's not. This comes out positive. That's not going to be true. 3/8 is going to be 0.375, so absolute value of this would be 2.375. This one would come out positive, so this one's going to be true. This comes out as positive 2. 7 minus 9 is negative 2, but there's no bars around it, so it's not going to be true. This comes out positive, it would be equal to that. This works out to negative 12 and then comes out positive, and this came out positive, so it's true. Absolute value of 6.3, 6 3/10. First we're going to look for 6 3/10 on the number line. Well, this is where negative 6 3/10 is. This is negative 6 3/10. So we're down to these two. Now, which one of these shows that 6 3/10 is 6 3/10 away from 0? It's going to be this one. You can also get rid of anything that shows a negative distance with the measurement. Okay, so we've got the band, and this was their gig. They got 400 plus 5 per person. And then they have to pay $45 for advertising expenses. They had to print posters and things. So 25 people showed up. So we've got $5 per person. So the equation for this problem is going to be the payment is going to be 400 plus $5 per person. And then once you figure that out, you're going to take off pay is going to be subtracting 45 bucks. So we're going to go 400 plus 5 times the number of people. There were 25 people that showed up. That's a pretty good crowd for, depends on what night of the week. But we've got 400. We're going to multiply that out because order of operations says you need to do that. So I'm going to put this together. It's 525 minus 45. So if you needed to, you could write it out over here. You can even use a calculator for this. So, oops, and that light went out. Let me go wave at the light here. Hang on. Okay. So you get nothing, you borrow, and you get 8, and you get 4. And I'm going to double check this because I am old and tired this morning. So I'm going to go 525 minus 45. Oops. 525 minus 45, and you get 480. Yes, the band made $480. It's not a bad payment, especially if there's only like 2 or 3 people in the band. Now, if you get a big band, we're not going to get paid as much. Anyways, let's keep going here. All right, 20% tip for a meal that costs $82.48. What's your total cost? So we've been talking about, is this a 1 operation or a 2 operation? This would be a 2 operation because we need to figure out the tip, which is going to be 20% of $82.48. I'm going to go ahead and type it in. And we get 16.496. That's going to round to 1650. Now, if they were just asking for the tip amount, you'd be done. But they're asking for total cost, so we need to add. Total cost is going to be $82.48 and 1650. 8 and 0 is 8. That adds up to 9. You get the 8 and a 9, so 98.98. And I'm going to double check that because I have not drank coffee this morning. So 82.48 plus 1650, 98.98. So that's a pricey little meal there. All right. On a map, distance between 2 towns is 5 inches. As soon as I see map and I see them giving me some information about inches to miles, I'm going to go ahead and set up a proportion. I'm going to go ahead and go inches to miles, and I'm going to go 3/4 to 34, except I'm going to think of 3/4 as 0.75. Now this is a calculator friendly problem, so you could have gone 3 divided by 4 and typed it in. And then they say 5 inches over here. So we've got 5 inches. It's going to be a numerator. So now to figure this out, you can just go 34 times 5 divided by 0.75, which I'm going to do right now with my handy dandy calculator. 34 times 5 divided by, wait a minute, something's up. 34 times 5 equals, and then I'm going to divide by 0.75, 226.66667. I'm going to go ahead and say about 227. About 227 miles. Okay, moving on. Let me go turn on the light again. We've got these automatic sensor lights that keep turning off. Okay. All right, so similar figures. This is still we're still new to this. This is 7 point, let me see what skill it is. 7.5. So this is skill 7.5. If you want to find some videos on it, I've got videos on it. Okay, so small triangle, big triangle, they're similar. One's a mini version of the other. That means even though the sides have shrunk, the angles are still the same. This angle is going to be the same as this one. This angle is going to be the same as this one. The shortest side will go with the shortest side. So I'm going to go C over E. And I'm going to go ahead and set up some proportions here. B is the one the longer leg touching the right angle. F's the longer leg. So B to E and B to F. Oops. And then A is the hypotenuse. It's opposite the right angle. A to D. So we've got C to E, B to F, A to D. Well, I see A to F. Wait a minute. Did we even have A to F? A is not going to go with F. A is diagonal. They should not be in the same ratio. C to A, E to D. Well, C's up top, A's up top over here. E's in the same location, D's in the same location. Wait a minute. C to E, C to E. A to D, A to D. So even though these are in the same ratio, here they're across from each other. That one's going to be allowed. Most likely you're going to see something like this, but you never know. They might put them like this. Let's see. D to A. Let's see. Well, we've got D to A here, and then E to C. So wait a minute. They've just got it flipped. So D to A, D to A. E to C, E to C. So that one's going to work. Let's just double check this next one. F to D. Well, F to D could work, except there would be F to D, F over D, F over D. It should be B over A. So they've got the right things involved, the right sides, but they're not in the proper location. All right. So draw the image reflecting over X. The x-axis is right here. So all we have to do is whatever's above is going to be below. This is skill 7.7 if you want to check out some videos on this. I've got some good ones on it. This is going to be 2 above. This is going to be 2 below. And I'm going to go ahead and put B with an apostrophe. That means the image of B. This is 2 above. This is 2 below. This is C with an apostrophe. I'm going to go wave at the light. And try not to grumble too much about that auto light. Okay. So this was 8 above. It's going to be 8 below the x-axis. So it's going to be right here. And those are, that's the image of the original triangle. So now they're talking about point C, the original point C. And they're saying translate it, which is a fancy word for slide, vertically 15 units. Vertically means it's up, down, and we're moving up 15. So we're going up 15 because it's a positive. If it was negative 15, it'd be down. Now we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, I'm running out of graph space. So we better do something about that. I don't want you could draw it on your own graph paper, but here's the trick. So you find the original location. The original location of C is at 9, 2. Hopefully you're understanding how to do that. We need to get together if you don't know how to find the location. So now if we're going vertically 15, we're not touching the x value. If we move it up, the x value will still be 9. So I'm keeping 9. And if I'm moving up 15, that's just adding 15 to the old y value. So hey, 2 plus 15 is 17. So your new location is going to be 9, 17. And yeah, so if you're moving up 15, you're not touching x, and you're adding 15 to the y value. All right, moving on. If I roll a number cube 72 times, how many times should I roll a 2? So this is going to be probability. This is called theoretical probability. So rolling a 2 is going to be a 1 in 6 chance. There's 1 2 out of 6 possibilities on a number cube. And if I roll 72 times, how many should I roll for a 2? You could go 72 times 1 divided by 6. Multiply the diagonals. This one you could also kind of think 6 times 12, 1 times 12. So either way, you're going to get 12 times. This is the theoretical probability. If it was experimental, we'd be actually rolling the dice. And you're not always going to get 12 out of 72, but this is theoretically. Mathematically, it says you should get that. All right, moving on. I'm going to show you the traditional way to do this, where you would go 6 times whatever A is plus 4 times whatever B is. Notice how I'm using those parentheses. I'm going to put in a -3. I'm going to put in a 5. This works out to -18. I'm dropping the plus sign. This works out to 20. -18 plus 20 is going to be a +2 because there's more positives. Now, if this is hard for you, you can always use the Desmos calculator, and if you type this in, it will give you the answer. But you have to type it in correctly. All right, problem 15. How many students took this test? Well, I see 6 people, 2 people. This would be, it's halfway between 8 and 10. It's going to be 9 people. This is 4, and this is 3. 6 and 4 is 10. 2 and 9 is 11, so that's going to be 21, and 24 people altogether. 24 people. How many scored above 80? Well, these 2 columns are above 80, so that's 7. Between 60 and 81. And they're asking for a percentage now. So that means it's going to be something with a percent sign. I'm going to go ahead and set up a proportion right here. I'm going to go here. So if they're asking for a percentage, there's a few ways you could do this. Between 60 and 81 would be these 2. So that's 11 out of 24 total is what out of 100? You could go 100 times 11 divided by 24. That's one way to do it. 100 times 11 divided by 24, and you get 45.833333. So we're looking at about 46%. The other way you could do it is to just divide 11 by 24, and you'd go 11 divided by 24, and we get the same thing. So it's about 46%. All right, this next one. So which equation makes the table? So 6 to -18. Well, let's see. X minus 24. If I put a 6 in there, 6 minus 24 is 18, -18. But does it work for the next one? If I put in a -5, -5 minus 20, that's not going to give you 15. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Let's try this. 3 times 6. 3 times 6. Nope, that's not going to be it. -3 times 6. That works. Put a -5 in here. 3 times -5. Yeah, there we go. Let's check that last one. Put in a -3. -3 times -3. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to be this one. So if I had a 15 in here, I'd basically be thinking -3 times 15, and I'd get -45. And this is what's known as, if you see that you're multiplying x by something, it's going to be proportional. If you were adding, it'd be additive. Check this out. Here's the real cool thing. You know a table's proportional if you can do that whole cross product thing. -5 times -18 divided by 6, you get 15. If you do -3 times 15 divided by -5, you get 9. So that's when you know something's proportional as well. We've got two more problems. So we've got this is the 7.12 lab gear. I would suggest you watch that video. Or there's like 3 videos on it. We've got x's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4x. We have 1, 2, 3. So that's -3. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they're positive. 9 positives. So we've written what it represents, but they want us to solve it now. We've got this x. We've got enough information to where we can figure out what x is. I'm going to make it in focus. All right. I'm going to add 3. We get 4x equaling 12. They canceled out. That's called the additive inverse property. We get with that. Now we're going to divide out the 4. And we get equaling 3. So if each of these x's were 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 minus 3 gives you 9. So it all works out. Okay, finally we've got one more. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. We get n is greater than 0. We're solving for n. On the number line, I'm going to mark 0, and I'm going to put an open dot and go to the right. Because if it was or equal to, then we'd shade it in, and 0 would be allowed. 0 is what it worked out to, but it's not part of the solution. Anything to the right of 0. So basically, any positive numbers are going to work. 0 will not. -12 would be somewhere down here. None of these are going to work. And think about it. If you put a 2 back in here, 2 plus 6 is 8. Is 8 greater than 6? It sure is. If I put a 6 here, 6 plus 6 is 12. Is 12 bigger than 6? It sure is. If I put a -12 here, -12 plus 6 is -6. Is that greater than 6? No. That's why these don't work. None of them make this statement true. That is about it. So this video is about 23 minutes long. I would expect a student to finish this between 15-20 minutes long. If you're taking a really long time getting these done, please visit me after school. We can take care of things. See you later.